Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Telescope Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Everyone in this place, if you can do a handstand, I want to see your feet up in the air right now. Wave them around, that's right.
Yo, welcome to the Telescope Podcast, the show where we look at geek culture through the spyglass of faith. Matthew Seipel Anderson here, recording a late-night episode. I'm going to let you in on a little insider information about when I do this show. I have the hardest time with the introductory segment. I write like a little script to help me through the other ones, but I often wing the intros, and it's not uncommon for me to record like a dozen or even like 20 different intros. I keep going back and redoing them. So anyway, I've redone this intro several times already, and now you know. Well, we just got back from a little mini vacation, had fun. We brought our dog, which was a whole new adventure, but we survived. We had a good time. I must apologize to you, I should say, for only producing 3 episodes last month. I failed. But you know what? It's summer, and it was great to be on vacation, so I guess I'm not really apologizing from the heart, but anyway, let's move it on. I'm excited for this episode. I'm going to be talking about Star Trek again. I didn't intend on doing 2 Trek episodes in a row, but we've got some news from the Star Trek world that's so exciting that I couldn't resist doing an episode right away. But before that, I'm going to talk about some exciting science news. Well, today's science segment comes from ScienceDaily.com, and it is a little bit of an older story, but it is very relevant. The headline reads, "Scientists unveil a giant leap for anti-aging." And this completely ties into this episode being an episode about Star Trek, because these experiments have really captured the attention of NASA. And the reason for that is there's a major problem with sending people to Mars. And there's a major problem with sending people into space in general, and that is cosmic radiation. And in this article, it talks about even on short missions, here I'm reading from the article, even on short missions, astronauts experience accelerated aging from cosmic radiation, suffering from muscle weakness, memory loss, and other symptoms when they return. On a trip to Mars, the situation would be far worse. 5% of the astronauts' cells would die, and their chances of cancer would approach 100%. Now, what this article details is an anti-aging pill that enables your cells to heal damaged DNA and, I guess, in a nutshell, return to their youthful state. One quotation in the article says, the cells of the old mice were indistinguishable from the young mice after just 1 week of treatment, said lead author Professor David Sinclair of UNSW, School of Medicine and Sciences, and Harvard Medical School, Boston. This also could have a huge impact on people who are survivors of childhood cancer because of the treatments they receive. Oftentimes they suffer from chronic illnesses later in life. I mean, like starting at middle age, they begin to suffer from a lot of health problems. So this could be great for them. It also could be great for just people who are frequent flyers, because when you're when you're flying, you're in the upper atmosphere and you're just subject to a lot more radiation. So it's really interesting what's going on in the world of anti-aging. And I will also put a link to a news story that is from 2018 that essentially says that the research is still looking very promising and human trials are currently underway. And they had some quotes from a few guys who are taking the anti-aging pills and giving testimonials of how it's improved their health in dramatic ways. So it's very, very exciting stuff that's coming down the road in science. But I would say that at the current moment, because, this is still in the trial and you can't get your hands on it, in the current moment, it's not nearly as exciting as the bombshell that was recently dropped in the Star Trek world. So you may be asking yourself, what bombshell? What bombshell was just dropped in the Star Trek world? Well, my friends, I will tell you. Patrick Steward, none other than Jean Luc Picard, has recently announced that he will be reprising his role as Jean Luc Picard. And I'm pumped about it because Jean Luc Picard is my favorite Star Trek captain. Of course, I must give a qualifier that I'm not an insane hardcore Trekkie because I haven't watched every Star Trek series. But yeah, I like Jean Luc. You know, I love Jean Luc. So I couldn't be happier that he is reprising his role, and he is 78 years old. That's amazing. I mean, dude must take care of himself. Impressive to be getting back into television, which is so demanding. And it's awesome. Maybe he's in that clinical trial. Maybe they're like, oh my gosh, Patrick Steward, he's taking these pills and he's back to his 50-year-old self. It's a miracle drug. I don't know. But anyway, there's not much information about this show, so I can't spill the beans on it. I mean, really, they've just have said that there's a new show. Patrick Stewart's coming back as Jean Luc. What they have revealed is that it's going to be the continuing life and adventures of Jean Luc. And that's pretty vague. Intentional, of course. And so we really don't know much about the premise other than the fact that Patrick Stewart is going to be playing an age-appropriate Jean Luc, which is great. You don't want an old actor trying to recapture the glory. You know, you want to see him continuing the saga and playing the character that we love, but in a new phase of his life. So I went ahead and I did a little speculating of some ideas. Some maybe great, some not great at all, some completely terrible, but a little funny. So I'm going to give you 8 of my ideas for this new show. And if you're listening if you're a Star Trek writer, feel free to steal my idea but give me a little shout out. All right, here we go. My ideas, serious and silly for the new Star Trek series. Number 1, you could go the Secrets of the Past route. This would entail new characters seeking out Jean-Luc because secrets from the Next Generation era are coming back to haunt the Federation. It's kind of a tried and true formula, but it's one that they could definitely use. Okay, number 2, Secrets of the Past. Jean-Luc has dementia and is randomly leaking classified information. The Romulans abduct him, and now the Federation must save him. Could be amazing. Could be truly amazing. All right, Jean-Luc the Mentor. Jean-Luc is mentoring the next generation and is somehow swept into the action along with his young mentees. Idea number 4. Jean-Luc the Mentee. In this scenario, another bombshell is dropped. And it would be in an attempt to get more people to get onto their streaming platform. The creators of Star Trek pull William Shatner out of retirement and cast him as a cybernetic hollow clone who actually mentors Jean-Luc to have more swagger. That idea is pure gold. Number 5. Jean-Luc the Survivor. In this scenario, a retired Jean-Luc is loving retired life until an act of terrorism nearly kills him. Unraveling the mysterious circumstances around the attack draws him out of retirement. Number 6. Jean-Luc the Survivor. Again, everyone from the Next Generation is dead. Why? Because they got old and died. Number 7. Jean-Luc just never left. Maybe Starfleet is like the Supreme Court, and Jean-Luc just never left because he never died. Finally, my last idea, number 8. Jean-Luc never wanted to leave. Jean-Luc retired, but still dreams of the glory days. And each episode of this new show is literally a dream that Jean-Luc has while napping near the plasma fireplace. All right, there's my ideas. I know they're mostly lame, and hopefully you got a little chuckle out of them. But I am pretty excited about the prospect of Patrick Steward reprising his role. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. The things I've read say that this new show is going to be a part of the new streaming service that all the Star Trek stuff is going to be on. So, they're really pulling in the star power. They're putting Star Trek Discovery on that service, which Star Trek Discovery has been pretty popular, and bringing Patrick Stewart back into the fold definitely adds some weight to the content they're going to be putting on this service. So they're making a big bid to try to get their audience drawn over. So I'd be curious to know, are you going to subscribe to that streaming service? Yeah, I'd be curious to know. Well, now it's time to do what we always do and bring out the telescope.
Bring forth the telescope.
Well, Psalm 92:14 says, "They will still bear fruit in old age. They will stay fresh and green." And there's just something about having an eternal perspective in your heart and in your mind that motivates you to continually have a fruitful life. And it fills your heart with a hopefulness that, even though, like the Bible says, the outward man perishes, but the inward man is renewed day by day. And even though you do grow old as a natural process, you just have this excitement about the future because you know that you have an eternal hope with Christ and with God. So it's awesome. And I've seen this in many people's lives, that they still bear fruit in old age. They stay fresh and green. And, Patrick Stewart, he's 78. He's about to play a major role in a very demanding industry. And so I think as people of faith, we can keep our eyes on God, keep our hope up, keep our faith up, not be discouraged by the circumstances we find ourselves in, because our hope is eternal. And we can lean on this promise that, Jesus is with us and that we will still bear fruit even in old age, and we will stay fresh and green. So there you go. That wraps up this episode of the show. I really appreciate every single one of you who listen. It means the world to me, seeing all the downloads. And I hope that this is helping you and bringing some joy to your life, drawing you closer to God. If you want to connect with me, my email is mysaviorsanthem@gmail.com. I'm still just using mysaviorsanthem.com as a website. Maybe that will change, but I don't know. I'll sure let you know when it does. The Facebook page is My Savior's Anthem, Music and Podcasting. Why? Because I don't want to maintain multiple Facebook pages, and the older I get, the less into social media I get. So one page is great, but who knows, that may change as well. Again, thanks for listening. Love y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.
What's up, everybody? Everyone in this place, if you can do a handstand, I want to see your feet up in the air right now.